Welcome to Free Marketing Fridays. About 10 minutes where I'm going to give you super actionable advice that you can take and use today so that you can work smarter, not harder. Today, we are talking about customer reviews and how to take those little tasty morsels of customer insights and get some really great data in just about 30 minutes. Especially once you start seeing patterns, it gets faster and faster. And the more you do this, the faster you will get. So this is awesome if you have existing customers. And if you're a startup but don't have any customers, but you have competitors, this will also be especially helpful for you. So there's a right way and a wrong way to process customer reviews to get really great data. And I'm going to walk you through that. And even if you say like, well, I have an AI scraper tool that does this for me, I can guarantee that it's missing out on some real gems. And so I'm going to show you how to pull those out. If we haven't met before, my name's Sunny Hunt. I'm the Chief Customer Nerd here at Hunt Interaction. Most companies chase leads. I reverse engineer your best fit customers and help you build a competitive moat. I've worked with these companies and a whole bunch more and across multiple industries in order to help these companies find and fill success gaps in their customer journey so that they can grow and scale the way they want. Here's the thing. Most companies skip over mining customer reviews because they think it takes too long or they don't know what to look for. So they launch with marketing messaging that sounds exactly like their competitors. They just kind of copy and paste and tweak a little bit. And then their sales team is left guessing at what objections they have to overcome during demos or even sales conversations. And sometimes you don't look at customer reviews because you may not even have any customers yet, or you may not have enough customers or reviews to get patterns from that data. You've guessed at messaging that was going to resonate and just decided to punt and do A/B testing instead. And your sales team is just winging on objections and just kind of guessing based off of what they've seen and what they think is an objection to purchase. And your competitors have tons of reviews that are just sitting there that you could definitely take advantage of. And not taking advantage of insights that are like right there, even if you don't have a single customer yet, is costing you time and opportunities chasing potentially the wrong thing. So today you should walk away with the information you need to gather language, objections, and differentiation points that your team actually needs. But if you don't know which reviews matter or what to do with them, like there's a huge pile of stuff to filter through. That's a legitimate concern. And some of these reviews are awesome, and some of them are just keyboard warriors just pounding it out, going to town. And most people try to read all of the reviews or only look at the best 5-star reviews because they don't want to hear anything that's bad, or they're just kind of surfing for best practices. But that's how you end up with like 47 open browser tabs and 0 actionable intelligence. But when you filter down to those amazing reviews, you can get a better handle on what's broken with old or previous solutions or your competitors. This is where your competitive advantage lies. And what's missing? What's missing from your product? What's missing from your competitors' products? If you want to build a competitive moat, this is where you start. And it's not about features your competitors can copy, and pulling language real customers use so that you can start building trust and establishing connections. But where do you even look for reviews? Like, beyond the standard G2, Trustpilot, Capterra, Google, Yelp, and even like the Better Business Bureau, reviews are there. There are some real hidden gem sources out there where you can find reviews. Facebook groups. Yeah, those are still a thing. Even like ClickUp has like a consultants Facebook group that's just filled with a gold mine of information. LinkedIn search. If you're not really using LinkedIn search, it's a really powerful tool. There are so many different filters that you can apply to your search, including people and posts and recency and connection status. There's a ton there. I really start looking for those things. And then Slack and Discord communities. Private communities have an amazing amount of information. So find and weasel your way into those communities so that you can watch and participate what's going on in that competitive space, not necessarily directly for your competitors, but more of like an industry level. And then if you set up Alert Mouse and Talkwalker alerts, you might be able to find some of those reviews, the articles, even social mentions that kind of slip through the cracks otherwise. So let's get specific about reviews. How do you even pick a target? There's a lot to pick from. How do you winnow it down in order to find the best ones? Here's what I typically recommend. Choose 1 or 2 competitor products that are similar to yours if you're doing a competitive analysis or if you don't have any customers. Or alternatively, you can pick your products that's just yours. Just focus on your product. Pick 1 to 2 specific keywords that illustrate a pain point. They're not generic. They're very specific problems that your customers use to describe the problem. So as an example, you're not looking for customer service so much as you're looking for onboarding confusion. I was confused during onboarding, something that illustrates that there is confusion, pain, frustration, something along those lines. Another example would be like, you're not looking for features, you're looking for reporting limitations. That's a problem that you want to identify or a pain point. You're being intentional because you don't have time for a research project. You need to get specific fast. And all reviews are not created equal. Immediately, you want to filter out this 5-star reviews. I know that's painful. Filter them out. 1-star reviews, people are pissed. Ignore them. And compensated reviews, they're just going to glaze anybody over. So just don't even pay attention to those. You are looking for more objective and reasonable reviews. You want to look at 4-star reviews, 3-star reviews, and some 2-star reviews. These are going to have a mix of pros and cons. They tend to be more thoughtful reviews. They tend to be longer reviews because these people have thought through both what's good and what's missing for them and their experience. So what should you look for once you've winnowed down like this set and you've still got like a massive pile of reviews? You want to look for reviews that talk about previous solutions or the competition, objections and worries that almost made them not buy, the problem that they were trying to solve, and the value they get or what they can do now that they have your solution. And these reviews don't have to cover all of these. If they do, great, but if you cover like 1 or 2 of them, still have an amazing amount of information. There's a lot more questions, a lot more filtering criteria that you can get into, but at the very least, if you track these 4 things, you're going to be really ahead of the game and be able to filter down to those really amazing reviews that you can pull insights from. So what do you do with all these reviews? You've winnowed them down, you've had your sources, you've filtered out all the 5-star stuff, you have your keywords, you're looking for those problems. You need a place to handle them. You could buy a big fancy tool with AI parsing, but like I guarantee you that those AI tools don't know your product the way that you do. They don't read emotion well. They still struggle to understand sarcasm and nuance, which is prevalent a lot in reviews. And identifying and pulling out these little pieces of nuance, it gets easier and easier the more you actually go through and read reviews. So, but my biggest recommendation as a holding bin for all of your reviews that you filter through is use the tools that you already have access to. Don't buy anything new. Drop the reviews in, highlight, pull text, snippets, count. Like those are the features that you want to be able to have. It's very, very basic. You could use Google Sheets, Excel, Airtable. I prefer Airtable because it's just easy for me to use and it automatically makes a really great chart. Once you have your solution for holding your reviews, you're going to want to do a couple things. So you drop your review in the first column, and then the other subsequent columns are all about these 4 questions: competitors, objections, problem to solve, and value. Those are the 4 questions that we've already previously talked about. So drop your review into the first column. And as you read the review, mark the appropriate column with the theme. You have to write out the theme that you see in that review. And reviews can hit multiple columns. So you could mention multiple competitors. So if you have a competitors column, you could have a list of different competitors in there. You could have multiple objections. You could have multiple value points. The thing is that you're going to want to copy and paste those sticky phrases or emotional language that you see. I'm going to show you examples of what I'm talking about in just a second. And you should aim for about 50 data points to start. That's going to give you a really solid foundation to start seeing repetitive themes come up. This is not an exercise for statistical significance. This is about saturation of themes and seeing those patterns emerge. And then obviously you're going to want to be able to sum your counts and then turn it into a really pretty chart. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is an example from a survey, but it's the exact same process. So in the first column where it says work environment benefits, I dropped the review, or in this case, it was the survey question response. And then in the subsequent columns, you talk about the theme. So the theme is the benefits. So you have the question response, and then you have the theme that's associated with it. What I do is I go through and read the review and pull out the significant themes. So in this first line, it says closer to family saves money. So I pull out those themes. They're saying they want to save money. There's no long commute. They live and work where they want. Those are significant benefits or value they get out of the work environment. And then if you notice, I have highlighted a couple of different pieces of really emotional or kind of language that sticks out. and use that as voice of customer snippets, something that you can kind of go back to and reference over time. And again, one comment or one review can have multiple attachments in a single column, and that's totally fine. But then you can get this pretty quantified chart that looks like this once you go through and do all of your reviews. This is where the gold lives with review mining. You're able to quantify that touchy-feely, qualitative data. So when someone says, we can't measure emotions, actually you can. If you're good at processing those reviews and understanding what those emotions are and attaching a theme to it, you can actually measure the emotional tension or friction that your customers are experiencing. Do that. So it's one thing to gather all this data. It's another thing to take action and apply it. So here's a hypothetical example. Let's say you're launching a project management tool and you mine Asana and Monday.com reviews with the keyword like team collaboration. So in 30 minutes, you discovered that 73% of mid-tier reviews mention too many notifications. 45% wants simpler permission settings. And you keep seeing the phrase popping up over and over again. I'm drowning in updates. It appears like 18 times. That's really powerful emotional language. So now you can take this information and your marketing message pretty much writes itself. This is not finished copy. This is kind of like the general idea of position of where this copy needs to go. You could say project management without drowning in notifications. Oh, okay. So now I get that. And it addresses the objections that your sales team knows they need to address. And now your product team knows exactly what not to build, which is over-indexing on notifications. So when you do all this review mining, what actually changes? How do you know this isn't just like a fool's errand and a lot more busy work? Without customer insight like review mining, your team is just guessing at messages and using opinions as customer truth. You might get it right, but you're missing out on huge opportunities if you get it wrong. You are absolutely burning budget on A/B tests because the people with the loudest opinions are always going to want data to back up those assumptions. And they're going to say, we're going to A/B test everything. Okay, great. But using data from your customers shortcuts this argument and gives any A/B testing you do a jump start. So you're already ahead of the game. And then your sales team is guessing at objections to overcome. Again, those assumptions are just going to kill your pipeline and your close rate. And then sales is going to blame marketing for filling the pipeline with garbage. And like it becomes a whole thing. When you use customer insights and turn reviews from the data from your reviews into data points that you can lean on, you create data-informed messaging. You have backup to show what your customers want and the tone and voice and the words that they use to describe what they want and why they want it. Sales can anticipate objections and handling them before they even step into a demo or have a sales conversation. And product knows what not to build, which is really helpful in building easy-to-love customer experiences. So customer review mining is just one tool in a whole big bag filled with customer data gathering opportunities. It's easy to do. It doesn't require a ton of budget. It can be quick. And it's especially helpful if you want to get the insights of your end users, run a competitive analysis, or if you don't have any customers of your own. So go out there and start mining reviews and see what kind of gems you can uncover. So this is all the time that we have today for Free Marketing Fridays. Thanks for spending time with me today. And if you're watching this on the replay and found it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up or left a comment, or if you really liked it, share it with someone you think could get some value out of this. So thanks for attending Free Marketing Fridays, and I will see you next week.